Everyone knows the back seats on a 240SX are completely useless, so I decided to replace mine with something way cooler. This is a dual 10-inch subwoofer enclosure that I made completely from scratch. The first step to making a custom enclosure is making a template that fits perfectly to the interior of the car. Then you can trace it out onto your material, whether that be plywood or MDF, and cut it out however you can. I'm using my scroll saw and a zip saw. Next, we can test it in the car, make sure it fits perfectly. We'll use this front piece and the interior of the car to make this top piece the right size. We can cut it down to size on the table saw, and then rip the angle parts with the circular saw. Just gotta test the fit and we're good to go. Now I'm gonna mark out how big I want my boxes. If you're gonna do this, you have to research how big your box needs to be for the subwoofers you have. Again, I'm just cutting my pieces down on the table saw, gluing them, and brad nailing them together. As you can see, the design I'm going for has two separate subwoofer boxes on either side, as well as an inner box is meant to house the amplifier. Here I'm just cutting out my bottom pieces, getting ready to glue them in. You might notice I'm not fully attaching the tops to the bottom of these boxes. That's because I'm going to make it hinge up so you can access the amplifiers. I added some bracing on the back, and now we can finally start to carpet this box. But first I gotta remove the lid. The adhesive I'm going with is 3M spray adhesive number 77. This stuff makes really quick work of carpeting any enclosure. Just spray it on, wait a couple minutes, and then press the carpet down. This front piece is definitely the hardest part on the whole box to carpet. As you can see, I'm making a couple relief cuts to get that curve right. I'm just going around with the utility knife and trimming up all the extra carpet. Again, it's just spraying more adhesive and laying more carpet. From here on out, it's pretty much the same process, so I'm not going to show every step. But once the bottom's done, I can continue to work up the sides and all the way to the top. Although it's super repetitive, it's also incredibly satisfying to carpet a box. This back part was a little tricky, but with a little trial and error, I got it looking pretty good. And here's a look at the box completely carpeted. Now we can cut out the holes for our subwoofers. I have two 10s, so the holes are about 9.5 inches. Same as usual, I'm spraying the adhesive and laying my carpet on the material. Now I can cut the carpet out from the holes and mount the lid back to the box. Here I'm just mocking up what the subs are going to look like when they're in the box, as well as the amplifier and this digital capacitor. We had to take apart the center console to run the wires back to the subs. If you want an in-depth video on how to wire subs, leave me a comment, I might get around to it. But here's a quick overview. We have a power wire going from the battery through a fuse and back to the enclosure, along with two RCA cables and a control wire coming from our deck. On the inside of the box, it gets a little complicated. On both the amp and the capacitor, we have a power cable and a ground. We also have speaker wire that goes from the amp to one sub, and then from that sub to the other. If you were wondering how I'm going to keep this box from vibrating open or losing its seal, I bought these latches similar to what you'd find on a poker set. Unfortunately, that's all I got time for today. If you liked the video, leave me a comment and follow.